are live. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. We are joined by Aunt Patty Marshall, who will be producing for us tonight. If you missed it, when we went live, we were going through some things behind the scenes, and Aunt said, if you want me to hit it, or you gonna hit it? So I'm dying behind the scenes. So if you're wondering why my fat ass is giggling so much, we welcome Aunt Patty Murphy with us live on location, says Javon. But yeah, Aunt Patty Murphy from the Golden Boot Podcast is with us tonight. He's gonna be producers. He's gonna be one on the ones and twos, but I couldn't contain the laughter. You gonna hit it? Or you gonna hit it? Or I'm gonna hit it. Oh man. Anyway, we got a huge show in store for you tonight. That God, man, you gotta laugh. Sometimes life is just so amazingly perfect. So amazingly perfect. So we do have a big show in store for you. Ruffino's rants. We'll get to that. Brian Kelly gives a preview to LSU football and camp. He gives the date August the 3rd, so a week from today. So sourcing from Brian Kelly. As LSU will be opening up fall camp or summer camp, whatever it's called these days, a week from today, or they will be reporting a week from today, and then they'll get started on Thursday. So, guys, we are here. We are a week away. God, listen. My name's Blake Ruffino, and I love college football. I love the Saints. I love NFL. I like, and I really, really do like the NBA. I really love college baseball and Major League Baseball. But I got to tell you guys something. I freaking love college football. And so we are a week away. We will be out at the first practice. You better believe that, to get all the tidbits. I want to see Miles Brennan, Garrett Nussmeier, Jaden Daniels, Walker Howard, the offensive line, wide receivers, DBs, running backs, tight ends. I want to see it all. So we will. Ant is in the comments, says players mess up too, man. Hey, pimp, sometimes, it's hard out here for a pimp. I wanted to see the song, but we'll wait to do that. So a week from today, we will be talking about that. My good buddy Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews is going to be joining us at 7:30. Dude just does a massive and great job. He does a preview guide and book. You could get it digital or the hard copy. He talks to as many head coaches in college football as he can. He gets about 30 to 45 minutes with each, I think 120 college head coaches to put the preview book together. I love it. I read it. I subscribe to it. So Brett Ciancia will be joining us at 7:30. Believe it or not, per his playoff picks, he is number one in the country in predicting the college football playoff, which is kind of wild when you think about it because it's only 4 teams a season. And majority of the times you already got one team that you pretty much somewhat know who's going to be the team in there, and Alabama. So Brett has been extremely consistent with his picks. Guys, and look, he came on. It's a year ago tomorrow was the last time that we had Brett on to preview the season. He had LSU going 7-5 and got ridiculed for it, but you got to give him credit because LSU did go 6-6 a season ago. Let's see what Brett says. I know that he is looking forward to LSU and thinks that they will be a lot better this season. So really, really looking forward to getting Brett back in the show. Sourcing, I think LSU's getting back to their roots. Now, LSU has a huge recruiting weekend this weekend for all of the guys and the guys that have committed in from out of state, but a huge weekend inside recruiting in the state of Louisiana this Friday. I put a pretty big nugget, I don't know how big you could say this nugget is. I mean, it's McDonald's-sized 20-piece spicy McChicken nuggets, right? Like we put them nuggets in there, pause. However, However, I will be giving you an update on that. You need to go and subscribe to the AYS message board, AYSSnetwork.com. I put a pretty massive one in there today. So go and do it. Go and do it. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of feedback and a lot of good times chatting it back and forth. So go subscribe there, but we will be talking about that. Okay. Aunt Patty Marshall's really doing well on these ones and twos, but he let's get to a couple of these comments. He says, 1 week from today, cue the Sam Ellinger soundbite, Blake.
We're back.
You're damn right we're back. I'm telling you, bro, I really, really, really love sports. There's not one bigger for me than college football. Just telling you, that's just my opinion. Blaine Smith says, heard they having a recruiting weekend in Baton Rouge this weekend. It'll be Friday. We'll touch on that at the very end. We'll bring Aunt Marshall on too to close out the show. So Javon Turner is Vaughn from Twitter, just for everybody that's in spaces. He says, what's the chances Will Campbell starting at left tackle September 4th? I would say 99.9% barring injury. That kid's playing, y'all. And it's not because he's from the 318. He's technically from the 985. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm going to get, I got to be careful with the producers because they can legitimately close the show.
Boo, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes. And boo.
See? You got to be careful. Your producers run everything. If you're married, you know this. Your wife runs the show. The woman runs the show. You're just there to just lay down. It's one of those days. It's one of those episodes. Episode 504. I guess it's going to be one of those. I love them anyway. So it's really, really good. Jeremiah D. Phillips. Man, look at my man with the umbrella. Congratulations. Look like you got married there. Congratulations to you, Jeremiah. But he says, who's QB1? I am going to lean Jarek Bernard Converse or Seven Banks. See, Jeremiah, you already messed up. He said, not my wife, Blake. She don't run shit. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to send it to her. That man going to be like, hey, Mr. Blake. Mr. Blake, can you please not send that to my wife? I don't send this to my wife. She don't watch the show, she says. I think she does because she be asking me questions about stuff I talk about in the show. So I think she secretly be watching. Adrian Bailey says the 3-1 great. Yeah. Hey, if Will Campbell's an All-American left tackle, I will get out. We will make a shirt and put it on the website. 3-1 great. You know what, Patty Marshall? Y'all need to make a shirt for the Golden Boot podcast that says 3-1 great. Y'all need to do it. 1,000%. Dylan Allen says, hashtag Ask Blake, do you think Noah Kane and John Emery split reps? I think that they do. Or I think that they will definitely split reps in camp to see who that number one guy is going to be. I think for right now it's going to be John Emery. So speaking of John, we might have some news here soon. We might be getting him on the show the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be fun. I wanted to try to get John on before the camp started. We'll see. We're pushing it kind of close, though. All right, last one, and then we'll get this thing started. Chris English says, BK put up that suggestion box for everyone to suggest their QB. That was funny. That was really funny. So we'll talk about that and all this good stuff as well. All right, let's do this. Everybody do us a favor and hit the like and share. Share to all those Facebook groups. Look, I can monitor how many of you are watching. I can monitor it. And I know for good damn well, not all of y'all hitting that like and share. Do a brother a solid. It's just 2 buttons. Bloop, 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 bloop. Hit the like and hit the share. Share to those Facebook groups. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Share to your own social media pages as well. If you're listening to us on YouTube, there's about over 100 of you already live in YouTube. I want 100 likes. Help a brother out. Hit the like, hit the share, as well as share to those social media groups. If you're listening to us on XM Radio or the audio podcast platform, rate, review, subscribe, all that great stuff. And don't forget to subscribe to the message board as well. All right, we got a lot that we got to get into. So let's pay these bills very quickly. Let's talk about our good friends over at GM Varno and Sons at betonline.ag. Guys, we'll be back in a minute. Start the show. With over 65 years of experience, our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website, use betonline.ag, use that promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992, 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Producer Ant says, Ryan, I'm going to kick you out. Well, at least it doesn't take Ryan that long to type in the comments like it does in Spaces. I love you, Ryan. I love you. He said, and Ryan responds, you can't boot a brother. It's true. That's true. Jeff says, how about give Dugas some love by coming back to the Tiger baseball team? It is a big deal. I mean, look, Gavin Dugas, when healthy, is a really damn good baseball player. And look, you guys know, and we've been covering baseball, I don't want to say better than anybody, but we've tried to really, really cover baseball. We were doing some things for LSU football when he broke the news, so congratulations to him. I don't know if he's going to start in left field. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, but you're going to have to find a spot for him, especially if he gets hot and have a season where he hits 20 home runs again. Guys, I've said this so many times about this baseball team. There could seriously be a situation where in your first 5 guys at the plate for LSU baseball, you have guys that either have done it or have the potential to hit over 20 home runs. Guys, that doesn't happen in college baseball in a regular season. It's not like you're playing 5 or 6 games in a week. That it doesn't happen like that. You play 4 games a week. It's a massive difference. A massive, massive difference. You have a situation where you could have Dylan Cruz in the second spot. I still think Josh Pearson, from talking about the 3-1 great, I still think he could get to 15 to 20 home runs. He had 10 or 11 a season ago, and he didn't even start half the season. So you have Pearson, you have Cruz, you have Tanks, you have Dugas, you have Joe Bear. Where does Trey Morgan fit in this lineup? You got Clean. It's insanity. And quite honestly, guys, everybody poo-poos and Rudy poos on a guy like Jordan Thompson. Only thing that he did was hit over 300 with a really bad knee. Oh, and let's not forget Gavin Guidry. This team is built different. And I know a lot of people are throwing in Paul Skeens. Again, please go subscribe to the AYS message board. Please, dear Jesus. I'm feeling, as the days go on, I feel a little bit more confident about Paul Skeens. The problem with me coming out here and saying, though, that my confidence level is rising is basically due to the fact of this young man's recruitment is so strange and so different. When you have an individual that doesn't want to talk about NIL, that doesn't want to talk about the other things that maybe other players want to talk about, branding, marketing, whatever it is, this guy wants to come to the park, go get a buzz cut legitimately from the, being in the Air Force, go get that buzz cut, go to the park, get developed, go whip some ass on the diamond, go home and drink a big fat glass of milk. That's what guys in the military do. Guys like that, you do realize he can play every position on the diamond, right? He can catch. We know that he can pitch. We know we've seen him throw multiple pitches in a row, even against LSU at 94 plus. It's like he's like the Booby Miles of the Air Force. And he can pass. He's the Booby Miles of the Air Force. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. LGZ. Hey, kind of LGZ. I don't know if he likes that or not, but I love the shit out of that little jingle. Hey, kind of LGZ. I ain't going to make fun of my boy LGZ. I was about to say something, but I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I like that picture of his dog, though. It is $7 a month. Okay. So let's get into football, guys. It's football season. I love talking baseball, and we will talk baseball, but we're here. The time has come. The time has come. As Brian Kelly spoke, he didn't even speak to the media today. He spoke to the Rotary Club, and with a pretty serious eye infection. My man was wearing looked like bifocals. I mean, my man was struggling, got an eye infection, looked like, he went to the Blue Store, which, by the way, I got tagged in this whole Blue Store food rating thing. They got inspected. Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't give a shit. If they going to produce high quality of food, I don't really give a shit. But it does look like my man Brian Kelly went up in there and was trying to take somebody's chicken drum and got snuck. Just saying, looks like my man got it. It looked like he got beat up. Nevertheless, Brian Kelly, don't tag me in the bad stuff about the Blue Store no more. I'm just going to tell you, don't do it. I ain't going to listen to you. Either way, Brian Kelly did talk today, and he talked about his team. He talked about his philosophy, and I agreed literally with everything he said. Normally, when I listen to coaches, there's normally one or two things I strongly either disagree with or believe that they're just talking bullshit. Like extreme and utter bullshit. But today, Brian Kelly didn't do that. He came in there and he told you, and look, listen, these people in this Rotary Club, and it's old money that he's talking to. He's talking to who funds your program. The money inside that building is so old, it's growing white hairs. Shout out to Lil Wayne. Bottom line is, he knows his target audience. He knows what he's doing. And it would have behooved him to go out there and trash NIL today, and he didn't. I like NIL. Do I think we need regulations, and do some people call for it? Sure, because of what some people are doing in recruiting. He didn't call anybody out. He did exactly what Saban should have done. Guys, you have a guy that's a CEO of your program, and that, God bless it and God willing, if he has to call plays on offense or defense, he can do it. And can do it not at a good level, not at a great level. You guys know that I don't like using this word, at an elite level. But when asked, Brian Kelly did talk, and we'll talk. Let's break some of this down. He was asked about his quarterback position, in which BK talked about just really a lot of things in reference to, he talked about the suggestion box. He talked about being a little bit mobile. Guys, he's not going to tip his hand. At this point, I don't know. And look, we are going to continue. And I know Ant and his show, and Pooh Bear at the Golden Boot, Zach and Tigers Avenue, myself, everybody that does a show, or you as an individual on Twitter Spaces, wherever it may be, we're going to be talking about quarterback at minimum for the next 31 days. At bare minimum, it's going to be the hot topic. The last couple of seasons, it's all it's been. The hot topic is quarterback. I know a lot of people say that the staff knows or has a damn good idea. I'm here to tell you, when I talk to people in that building, no, they don't. Because each quarterback, although they do some things at a high level, they do have some deficiencies that they have to overcome. All of them have that. Garrett Nussmeier, the gunslinger, can he protect the football? Listen, if Garrett can protect the football and be a little bit more accurate, guys, he can be your starting quarterback. What I don't like, and what the reality of it is, I just don't know if it's a crucial third down if he's going to make the right read and throw. And in the SEC, you can't be doing that. You can't be careless. Let me tell you something that I would rather. We ripped on Max Johnson a season ago. Some of you believe it's warranted. I'm not having that argument with you. I would much rather a quarterback take a sack, pause, but I would rather him take a sack than turning the football over. Do you realize how crucial it is when you turn the football over? Guys, by the way, go back and watch Alabama from a season ago. When you go back and watch the game against Alabama for a season ago, you're midway through the second quarter. You're 5 minutes left to go. And LSU and Alabama are tied 7-7, and LSU is on their own 40-yard line. 3rd and 2 on their own 40-yard line, and Jeray Jenkins breaks off his route and stops because he didn't think the ball was coming to him. Christian Harris would bat it up in the air, and it would get intercepted. We know what happens after that. It kills you to turn the football in critical situations. Jaden Daniels has to get better with the intermediate passing game. Guys, other than that, I think he could be a damn good quarterback. He's got to be better on short reads. Look, he's making the right reads. He's got to be better on the intermediate stuff. And look, you get to Miles, and I'm not going to break down Walker, but you got Miles who's been here. Guys, he committed during President Obama's administration. And you get on me because I joke about it, but guys, he jokes about it too. Okay? He jokes about the same exact thing. He's been here for a long time. For him, it's nut up or shut up time. Either you got to go shit or get off the pot. The time is now. And I will be honest, I do not, at least as of right now, I have not seen, and Marshall says Miles older than the money in that Rotary Club. I mean, he's also growing white hairs. You just can't see it because he's blonde. Coach O would know that very, very well. Shout out to Coach O on his birthday. However, man, it's not up or shut up time. Trash me, hate me, tell me I'm wrong, whatever. Guys, it's not up or shut up time. There's nothing that you've seen in the last 2 years. Nothing. You know what's funny is, and me and Ant were talking about this before the show started, about how people are so worried about Michael Thomas. He missed the last 2 years. Right? Like Michael Thomas, can he come back? Dr. Chow said that it's really bad. I just don't know. But yet some people don't use the transitive properties from Michael Thomas to Miles Brennan. Both have a kind of a similar situation in and out for the last 2 seasons. But you say Michael Thomas has issues and we got to see it until he gets back on the field. Well, what about Miles? If you're going to say one, you got to say the other. Now, here's the thing about Miles, and everybody says that trash young man. I don't. At least it's not my intention. Miles can go out there and sling that bitch. Bottom line. Excuse me to the listeners on XM. He can go out there and sling that hoe. It is what it is. If he's quicker with his release and quicker with his decisions, and he was as accurate as he was 2 seasons ago, all right. To say Brian Kelly knows what he's doing or knows who the guys are, no, he doesn't. Because talking, again, like I mentioned earlier, talking to people inside that building, they have no idea. They need another 15 practices to find out. And by that time, you have 30 practices under your belt or 32 practices underneath your belt. You will know. You will know. Guys, I almost guarantee you this is what's going to happen. After the first week of camp, one guy's going to emerge. The media is going to be pushing for their guy. I promise you that's coming. It's happened the last 3 seasons. It's happened the last 3 seasons. Very quickly, though, before we get to Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews, Brian Kelly talked about his offensive line, and I do agree with him here. I do think that you have a more talented overall unit this year than you did last. I think, speaking of the 318, and I know I mess with Ant a lot about this, the kid can play, man. I still think he's starting out of necessity because if you had, as an example, I don't know if Sadiq Charles would still, not Sadiq Charles, Dare Rosenthal would still be here, but he would have the ability to still be here. Like if a Dare Rosenthal were still here, Will Campbell wouldn't be starting at left tackle. And maybe he can kick over to right, maybe. But he's extremely talented. He is the anchor on the offensive line because you can put him out there and you're going to have to live with the inexperience. You're going to have to live with him getting beat with a move that he's never seen before or the speed. But as the season goes on, I think he's better. But from an athletic standpoint, I think Trayvon Shorts is more athletic than Ed Ingram. I think Miles Frazier, guys, if Will Campbell, God bless it, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, amen. If Will Campbell goes down or you got to put him at right tackle for some ungodly reason, Miles Frazier can kick out to left tackle. I don't know what they do at center. We'll see. Who's going to make the protection calls? Who's going to get the snap off right? Because the thing about center, guys, is he's going to get help. 9 times out of 10, the center's going to get help. Is it Charles Turner? Is it Garrett Dellinger? We will see. We will see. Let's get to a couple comments, and then we'll call our good friend Brett Ciancia. We got a call. No in-house. We're not going to see Brett tonight. We got to call him. I hope everything works. Aunt Patty Marshall says, from the producer's role, we're about to pass the offering plate for Sermon Reverend Blake. We need I don't know. We need a Amazing Grace tune up in here. Tell Pooh Bear I want an Amazing Grace too. Y'all know at church, y'all always know that old lady in the probably second or third row. She never sits on the first row, but she sits on the second or third row. She's always on the left side of the church. Y'all know who I'm talking. She always wears the hat, and she's always humming. And she doesn't sing. That's what I want. But now, like she's got 75 different tunes. That's my kind of church, man. One day, Aunt, remind me in spaces, like late night spaces, like late night, remind me to tell y'all. So my dad was the mayor of Roseland, Louisiana, which is 95% African-American. We're like the only family there. We went to church at an all-black church. I'm going to tell that story. I'm just not going to tell that story here because I got to say a word that I can't say on XM radio that was live in from that church. Pastor Sarah got all over my fat ass. Shut your ass up, boy. The Lord could have smitten you dead. She didn't say he goes, lightning goes, smitten. I had to ask my mom, what in the hell is smitten? Like, is she making me mittens for the winter? Like, what? Like, what's going on here? She was raining down on me, but I was a badass little kid, though. All right. Let's get to our good friend Brett Ciancia. We'll be back with him. Pick Six Previews has the most accurate reading over the last 10 years when it comes to the BCS playoff and rankings. We're going to call him now. We're going to pay these bills. We'll be back in about a minute 30. Let's talk about our good friends over at Gramco and my good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. All right, we are now joined by our good friend Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews. Brett, I hope we got you, brother. Can you hear us? Brett, can you hear us, brother?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. And you can hear him? All right, good, Brett. I told Brett we were this first time we're doing the live call on the Roadcaster, so we're doing everything we can to be accurate here. But Brett Ciancia at Pick Six Previews joins us. Brett, listen, you've been one of the more and really actually the most accurate when it comes to what you do. I guess you were here with us a season ago or a year ago, and you gave our listeners a little bit more of what you do, and a lot of them already know, but just tell them a little bit about what you do and what Pick Six Previews is, and then we'll get into what you believe this college football season is going to be a lot alike.
Yeah, well, thanks a ton. Pick Six Previews is a college football preview website and now a magazine that I launched back in 2012. So 10 years of digital-only PDF, but this year in 2022, first time ever with a paper magazine, just like the ones you see on newsstands. In terms of predictions, I've been graded the most accurate the last 10 years, the last 5 years, 2020 and 2021. And that's not just me saying it, that's Stats.com, who's been grading these things for decades. So I have the accuracy title there. And then, yeah, what goes into it, this is a one-man company, unlike the other ones that have staffers and hundreds of writers. This is a one-man show. I'm calling head coaches, I'm calling coordinators, beat writers, tuning into local radio shows, spring games, game tape, everything you could think of, and compiling this thing into a readable format with my graphics and numbers. So striking a balance between the advanced stats, but also the X's and O's of it. So so we just launched the 2022 book, and now excited to break it down with you guys.
So, Brett, I want to start off in the SEC, and I want to kick it around all of college football with you, but obviously I want to start in the SEC because, it's where we're at. Tell us, brother, I mean, how do you forecast this? I mean, a lot of new moves have been done around here. Billy Napier at Florida, obviously Brian Kelly here at LSU. How do you see the SEC shaking out?
Yeah, well, I think you hit on two big names right there. I think that in the 11 years I've been doing Pick Six Previews, this is probably the craziest coaching carousel I've ever seen. And two names that you hit on, Brian Kelly, that's the first head coach to leave Notre Dame on his own for another college job, a lateral move. First time since 1944, and that was during World War II. So really rare move to see a Notre Dame head coach leave for a different job on his own. And what you get in Brian Kelly at LSU is the active coach in college football. And, he built Notre Dame into a consistent winner, a couple playoff appearances, a couple undefeated seasons. And, I think that his intro speech caught a little bit of people's guard. But I think people certainly warmed up a little bit once they saw the caliber of transfers they were bringing in. Top 3 transfer class coming in to try and jumpstart this roster, which was kind of thin in the bowl game, very thin in the bowl game, just 39 scholarship athletes. But not to dig too far into LSU, yes, you have Napier over there in the East Division. But on a whole scale, I think the SEC West is the deepest in the country. Again, I mean, that goes without saying. It was really difficult to place teams 6th and 7th in this SEC West because all 7 of these teams could probably contend for some of the other Power 5 divisions outright. So just a really crowded division. You have championship caliber at the top with Georgia. You have teams of the future with the recruiting levels like A&M. Great likable coaches, Sam Pittman, Mike Leach, and Lane Kiffin. Maybe not likable to LSU fans, but certainly characters of the game. There's a lot to talk about up and down this division and this conference.
Brett, when you look at the SEC West, and you were talking about it's the deepest in the country, is when you're making your preview book and you're calling coaches and you're talking to everybody, do you just like shuffle or like roll a dice on who you're going to pick 2 through 7? Like it's got to be the most difficult thing because I do it and I'm like, man, I could see Arkansas at 2, but I could see them at 5. So how do you do it in your advanced way, and how are you always so accurate when you look at a division like the SEC West?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for the praise there. It's it's tireless effort. It's a 7-month project. Once the confetti falls on national title stage, it's time to build for the next book. And it's been accelerated here with this transfer portal and the no penalty transfers. I'm digging into every single team, but really every single position group, because if you just see that they added 10 transfers, it doesn't really give you much context. You have to dig into each specific player, where they came from. Did they start there? Did they participate there? Were they a blue chip recruit 3 years ago? It's just so granular. Just really digging through every position group of every team, looking at past results, not just 2021, but the last couple of years, trying to find trends. Coordinator grades, and again, all this is in the book. I have a couple sample pages up for any interested listeners, but yeah, it's really just an exhaustive effort. I'm a competitive guy, and I view this as a competition to be the most accurate preview magazine. And I'm trying to find any parcel of information that I can find, and whether that's through talks with head coaches and coordinators, beat writers of practice reports themselves, game recaps, watching the games. It's really just anything I can get my hands on to try and make the most educated decision. And a couple of the last bits would be looking at cross-division schedules. And this might get glossed over, but especially in the SEC where you only get 2 cross-division games. I mean, there's a huge difference in getting paired with Georgia and Florida versus getting paired with Vandy and Missouri. So there's like a 2-game flip like that could really alter the division standings projections. So all of that goes into it and more. And I've had the formula right the last couple of years, hoping to get another crown this year.
So, Brett, last one, the SEC West from me, and you know that we're obviously an LSU-based podcast, but we talk a lot of SEC too. You talked a little bit there about Brian Kelly, but when you look at this team and you look at what's returning and what they've added in the portal, and I know that offensively, outside of Kayshawn, there's a lot of questions there. When you look at this team so far from LSU, what do you see?
Yeah, so I think that you have a complete stable of skill players on the outsides and at running back. I really like Boutte. He's an All-American contender. Season got cut short last year, but still put up 9 touchdowns in 5 games. Incredible output. So he's an All-American contender there. A bunch of 5-stars in the backfield. John Emery, ready to become the lead back. Question marks on offense would be the offensive line. You sent 3 guys to the pros, and even with those 3 pros last year, the offensive line graded around 100. In my sack rate and my run push metrics. So struggled and lose the 3 NFL caliber guys. It's going to be very young, potentially a couple true freshmen starting there. And that's kind of tough to pull off in the SEC. It'll pay dividends down the road, but that's a question for now. Quarterback, you guys cover it every day, I'm sure. But
yeah.
a three-man race. And you know what? It's a lot of good options. I wouldn't view it as a negative. It's just an uncertainty right now. And, you have a 3-year starter, Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. He brings more athleticism, more elusiveness to the position than the other two candidates in Brennan and Nussmeier. But conversely, has struggled in passing in the last 2 years. Kind of peaked as a freshman throwing the ball and has come down to earth. So, each has their own attributes. And, of course, you have that quarterback of the future there with Walker Howard. Some graded him the number one quarterback in the whole class this cycle. So those are the uncertainties that I have on offense. And then and defensively, start at the top with the coordinator. I love Matt House. He really he turned around Kentucky's defense a couple cycles ago. Went to the pros, but then he was saying how he really wants to get back to the college level. He misses the build of it. Building up a staff around him, building a scheme and developing the players. You don't really get as much of that at the pro level. So a great coordinator hire. And you guys know all the blue chip talent on defense. It just reloads every year.
Brett, I do want to kick it to you for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Brett, I got to be honest, and I'm probably wrong here, and I'm probably just thinking with my heart a little bit in reference to I love seeing an offensive lineman like Sam Pittman do well. I do have them maybe as high as 2, maybe 3 in the West. They return a really good offensive line. They got 3 good running backs, and KJ Jefferson returns. What do you think about the Arkansas Razorbacks this season under year 3 with Sam Pittman?
Yeah, you hit on some of the great positives there. I mean, you really saw the program shift last year in their game against Texas, and that's a blue blood program. That's a former rival, a regional rival for Arkansas, but not just to beat them, but to dominate them like that in Fayetteville. It really shifted from a rebuilding project to really a destination. You saw now players wanted to come transfer there. They signed a top 10 transfer class. They have a top 10 rated 2023 class. And the other thing is it made it a destination for the coordinators. Pittman, when he was hired, the national guys really got on that hire. I like to sit back and wait a few years, see how they build their staff and recruit. And look at the 2 coordinators that he put in. You got Kendall Briles on offense.
Insane.
And Barry Odom, a former head coach on defense. And those guys are great and decided both to. I have Arkansas all the way up at 3rd, 12th nationally. That's higher than any other magazine out there. Really high on the Razorbacks. It's just such a crowded division. But no, they have a huge ceiling behind an offensive line, KJ Jefferson, and a defense like Barry Odom. They really do a nice job there. So they out of nowhere 2 years ago you'd have laughed at this, but top 15 team right now.
Brett, you take the words right out of my mouth when you say that we would have laughed at this 2 seasons ago when they hadn't won in the SEC in 2 years. It's insane to look at what Sam Pittman's doing and what he continues to do. Brett Ciancia with us, Pick Six Previews. You can catch all of his content. We'll let you know, or he will let you know where you can get everything that he is doing. It's always fantastic. Brett, I want to kick it over to you, though, in the SEC East. And I'll start over with the Florida Gators. Brett, I got to be honest. I'm picking Utah. I know that I might be picking wrong here, but I think it's a really inexperienced staff in the SEC versus one of the more tenured staffs in all of college football in Utah. When you look at the Florida Gators, they have a long season. What do you see with them, and specifically even with Utah coming in the Pac-12 and coming into Gainesville?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting tie there because I do have Utah winning the Pac-12 and as a surprise pick to make the playoff in my preview book. So I had that opener circled as a potential problem right away, going down to the Swamp on opening Saturday night. That's going to be incredible atmosphere. You catch Florida in a transition season, first time for the staff coming up to the Power 5 in the SEC level, and you have youth all around the roster. I actually went with Utah in that game specifically, but longer term for the whole season, I have Utah making the playoff. And you hit on it. That Whittingham staff is one of the best in the game. They always grade at the top of my player development metric and my win conversion metric. What those do is compare the raw recruiting ranking to the actual NFL draft output, the actual wins on the field. Because, recruiting numbers are great, but something's got to happen on those 4 years on campus and on Saturdays in the fall scheme-wise. So they do it better than almost anybody. I got to speak to Morgan Scally, offensive coordinator, again. Great guy to talk to, but they're reloading right there on defense. It's that usual ball hawking, attacking defense. So really like Utah. With Florida, I have Florida in a tie for third place in the East. This year I went with Georgia 1. I put Tennessee number 2, almost based off their offense alone. I think that offense is going to hit even higher heights for 200 Josh Heupel. And then a toss-up for 3 with Kentucky and Florida. Kentucky, you could say, is kind of the Utah of the SEC East in a way. They the same things I just said about Utah staff. You know, Stoops has pretty much done that at Kentucky, but Florida, you know, they're recruit better. There's more variability with Florida, so you could see them going 9-3. You could see them missing bowl season altogether. They're very variable.
Brett, so you talked about Tennessee there, and you have them at 2. Do you think that they could potentially upset Georgia? Like, are they that close, in your opinion, to upsetting Georgia and winning the East and playing for the SEC title?
Well, Blake, I know that this is talking season, and it's always enticing to get a hot take in there, but I just think, and this is probably the boring answer, but I think that Georgia has really cemented themselves as an upper tier program within the division. I mean, I think that it's Georgia, then a sizable gap down to the Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky path. So, you know, with Tennessee offensively, yeah, they certainly have it. You know, last year, Josh Heupel, even in just one offseason, he made one of the biggest biggest improvements year over year in my offensive percentile. So just incredible job there. Most of it's back on offense, 4 linemen back, Hendon Hooker back. I think 2 of the starting 3 receivers back, and Brew McCoy, a 5-star coming in. So that offense is going to be one of the best in the country. The holdup I have is defensively. I mean, you saw them just get torched last year. You know, part of that is maybe the conditioning of it, because they're facing so many more snaps based off of their offense being the highest tempo in the country. So they certainly need defensive improvement before you start to consider them a SEC contender or challenging Georgia. But all that to say, I still have them in my top 25. I think it was an incredible turnaround last year, given all the drama, all the craziness with the transfers they had, the attrition. So, you know, my hat's off to Heupel in year 1 to take another step.
You know, I tell you, Brett, what's funny about that is if Jeremy Pruitt could give some more McDonald's bags full of cash out to the defensive side of the ball, but you know, Heupel might have been, you know, really excited, huh?
Yeah, for sure. The defense was lacking, and the transfer portal certainly didn't help Tennessee. I mean, I can't even remember the count, but so many players went to Oklahoma. Even starting backer Henry Russo went to Alabama. I mean, that's an All-American candidate. So they lose their depth, they lose their blue chips, and they lost their stars. So to get through all of that, especially with the NCAA investigation going on, all the distractions in the world for a first-time SEC coach, I thought Heupel really handled himself well. You know, look out for Hendon Hooker as potentially a dark horse candidate for, you know, I almost want to say Heisman, but you got to get to 10 wins to be a Heisman candidate. But he's going to put up incredible numbers.
Brett Ciancia joining us. Brett, 2 more from me, and we do have one fan question that we're going to throw in here for you as well. When we look around college football, I know you talked about Utah, but Clemson's a team to me that I just keep circling back to. I mean, they have a very favorable schedule, really good defensive line. I think that they have 2 quarterbacks that could play. I'm not out on DJ yet. When you look at Clemson, what is your thoughts about them coming into this season?
Well, I think a little bit more on Clemson than most. I think that the other 3 preseason magazines all have Clemson in the playoff, and I don't have them in the playoff. I don't have them winning the conference. In fact, I don't even have them winning the ACC Atlantic. I went with NC State.
Oh, wow.
What I see with Clemson, you hit on the positives, and that's a defensive line that's the best in the country, a defense that will again be, you know, a top 5 defense. But here's a couple problems I have with Clemson. One, staff continuity has been so crucial to their dynasty. You lose the best defensive coordinator of the game, Brent Venables, changeover at offensive coordinator, and both those guys coming into new roles are first-time coordinators. That hurts. Number 2, transfer portal. All the other powerhouse blue blood programs, they've really embraced the transfer portal, except Clemson. They're really anti-transfer, and that's, you know, when there's certain roster gaps or position gaps, that's a great tool to have, especially if you're a current dynasty like them. They've ignored it, and you're going to see some roster holes this year, especially on offense. And lastly, is that offense. They were dead last in the ACC in offensive percentiles last year. Passing game was one of the worst in the country, and I don't really see an overnight fix. I watched their spring game, and DJU, he looked like the same quarterback that struggled all last year. He was overthrowing guys, just didn't have it mentally in the spring game, that is. I do think they have a quarterback of the future with Cade Klubnik, but that's an incoming true freshman and certainly looked the part in spring. So too many questions on one side of the ball with Clemson. The defense is special, but they lose Venables, and then the offense was a train wreck last year, and I don't see an overnight fix. So all that to say, I wouldn't bank on them as a guarantee. I think you got to really break them down and look deeper into them.
Brett, one more from me, and we got a fan question I think is really intriguing that might that I've always wondered about this with you, and I know that you do a good job with it. Ohio State, Alabama, are we going down a path and a train track of the inevitable of those two teams meeting at the end, in your opinion?
Well, I think so. Those are my number one and number two. Now, college football, it has been special. It's been pretty electric with the upsets the last couple of years, especially last year. Most teams ranked in the top 5 in a season since that crazy 2007 year. So,
trust us, we remember it down here in Baton Rouge.
yeah, you guys are living proof. The first 2-loss team into the Natty. You had a couple triple overtime losses away from being perfect, but yes, last year was kind of a dose of that 2007 flavor. We'll see if the upsets come back. Then throw that chalk out the window. But as we sit here at the end of July, you really like what you have with Alabama. You have a Heisman winner. You have the best defensive player in the country. 5 stars really at every position. They're the number one recruiters, and that staff is tried and true. And they have the respect factor coming up against A&M, Georgia, and getting back to the playoffs. So I like Alabama number one. Ohio State, best offense in the country. They were last year. They will be again. They bring C.J. Stroud, Travion Henderson at running back. A huge stable of receivers, most of the line. The question with them was their defense, and it was young last year. I don't want to make excuses, but they bring back top 10 returning production on defense, usually a clear pointer towards improvement. They also added in the best defensive coordinator, one of the best in the country, Jim Knowles. So I look for them to be more a complete team. And, man, I would love to see that Ohio State offense go up against Will Anderson and the defense. That would be an epic conclusion to the season. But hey, we lost some upsets, so let's see what happens.
Rick fires in a question for you, Brett, here. It says, #AskBrett, how much harder has the transfer portal made your job given the uncertainty it brings? I think that's a fantastic question because, Brett, you could be breaking down a team and somebody goes in the portal and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, trust me. It has made my job with this preview book 10 times harder, I'd say. I mean, it's just incredible on 2 fronts. One, the actual prediction accuracy. It's harder now to rely on old metrics. Like the recruiting rankings start to lose value if half the class from 2 years ago is gone. Right. So that just becomes an almost irrelevant stat. You have to really dig in on a personnel, position by position and talking to guys, and which I love to do. I love every second of it, but it has really increased the workload in the prediction angle, and then in the actual the book, the actual sitting down and writing this thing. There's been so many pages and paragraphs that I've had to just delete and scrap because a guy gets up and transfers after spring ball. I'll have, and it's not just backups, it's starters, quarterbacks. I'll have a thing written up about a starting quarterback coming back, and then the guy loses, I guess, a spring job or something, or gets a better offer somewhere else, and you just got to delete that, rewrite, and I'm my own editor too, as you can imagine, as a one-man show. So it's pretty time-consuming. But in a way, I wonder if that's helped me defend my title at the top there, because I'm willing to put in all the work. I do wait a little bit longer than the other magazines. I wait until that big spring, post-spring transfer rush. Meanwhile, you see some books that are getting on the shelves April, May, and missing out on a lot of information. I bet they all have Jordan Addison as the all-ACC receiver right now. He's down at USC. So, yeah, it has really increased and changed the game. Certain metrics you can't look at anymore as much, and you got to just dig in even deeper.
That's Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews. Brett, tell them where they can catch all of your content, all of your preview stuff, and everything that you're doing.
Yeah, thanks so much. Pick6previews.com, and on there I have a couple sample pages. I have some testimonials, the College Game Day guys, the ACC Network guys, Josh Pate from 4-7, just a lot of great testimonials. And then Pick Six Previews on Twitter, at Pick Six Previews. And then I'm also on the Bill King Show here with Blake. We go doubleheader there on Wednesday morning. So check us out there. It's a great show and a great listenership. Love to be a part of that. So thanks, Blake, for having me. Keep up the great work. And, hopefully the Tigers prove me wrong this year and move up that ladder a little bit in the West.
Hell, me too. And look, I still got to get my helmets from you, brother. I still got to pay you to get my helmets. We're doing doing the new studio and everything, so I got to get with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the new studio setup. I got the SEC for you. Working on an LSU set too, getting all the throwbacks in there, the white helmet, the old gold one. So we'll be in touch about that, and stay tuned for some LSU helmets.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much, Brett. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Blake.
All right,
Appreciate
that's Brett Ciancia. You're from Pick 6 Previews. Oh shit. All right, let's do this. Jesus. Brett's fantastic. It's not about Brett. If y'all hadn't heard, my phone's been buzzing off the hook during the show about this recruiting buzz and the big weekend for LSU. So let's do this. Let's pay some bills. We'll bring Aunt Petty Murphy up to us next to end out the show. But let's talk about my good friend Carol Falls over at State Farm. Guys, we'll be back in 45 seconds to close down. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. All right, we're bringing Aunt Petty Murphy, his first time ever producing for AYS. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Well, listen, I know that it was a little bit crazy there in the beginning. You know, you're going to hit it or I'm going to hit it. Just let you know that's all you, brother. I'm a happily married man. You are too, so nobody's hitting shit, okay? We'll just end it there. And really big deal in reference to this weekend and recruiting. The state, they're really going after the guys in the state. I mean, when you see something like this, are you like me? Do you just think that all this has just been planned and everybody's been freaking out for something that they should have never freaked out about?
Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying on the Golden Boot, this staff has shown that they got a plan, and they aren't just flying by the seat of their pants. They know what they want to do, and they're executing it. And all the lands to LSU, Shelton stays, and bring Derek back home. All that social media presence that they had, it showed that they were building towards something with all of that.
I agree, and look, I think you could have 45 kids there. I know they're putting pressure on guys like Derek Williams and others to bring them in there. It's always been a plan. You don't buy a $2.5 million house 0.8 miles away from campus if you're not coming here wanting to recruit. But that's just me, man. That's just me.
Of all the places he could stay, huh?
No, go ahead.
As I said, of all the places he could stay, he picks a house right there, what makes it legal for him to host players and recruits and stuff.
No doubt. I mean, bro, he's worth $90 million. I mean, he's guaranteed $90 million. He ain't gonna do nothing like Orgeron. I hope, knock on wood, that's gonna take that away. And then obviously, if he wins, all right. So let's do this, and we're gonna cut it a little bit short tonight. Go see our good friend Mike Scarborough and Buddy over at TigerBait.com. They're gonna be doing their show up next, guys. My name's Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. Y'all have a good night. Thanks to Aunt Petty Marshall. We'll see y'all soon. Later, guys.